Okay, hi, welcome to How's Your MS? Um, Wait, what's the title? I gotta remember the title. It's a long title, that's why I don't remember it.
It was like what to do when your doctor asks, how's your MS?
Or yeah, instead of yeah. Do you? I guess the reason I came up with that title, whatever it is because I've had doctors really. I mean, it's really weird to me how it seems like doctors today are very short-sighted. Like they don't know much other than what they do, and they really have. I can't get over how little they know about muscular dystrophy. Like they just. I mean, half the time they ask me like if my wheelchair goes backwards. They ask me like really simple questions. They can't figure out my body mechanics. Like they'll look at me and they'll be like, "Oh, well, can you get dressed yourself? Can you do this? Can you do that?" And I'm like, "Can you just look at me and just tell that there's not a lot happening here?"
Yeah.
And so like they just have it all wrong. And so that's why I came up with the title. The doctor says, "How's your MS? Best strategies for communicating with doctors." Because I think it's kind of shocking to go in to see these medical professionals and realize that you pretty much go in knowing way more about yourself than they do. I mean, way more. Like,
That's why I've decided that I've started telling people to call me Dr. Mo.
right.
Because I don't believe in the medical establishment, they've created their little power circle and their ideas and things. And so, no, I don't think it's legitimate. And so, no, I'm Dr. Mo.
So do you guys have any interesting, I guess it started out as like almost like an icebreaker or whatever. No. Do you guys have any interesting stories of a time, and I mean, maybe a short little story about a time where a doctor seems like kind of what we're talking about?
Stupid? Kind of stupid.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, well, no, I've had I died laughing when I saw the title because I've had the exact thing you said is that they get the MS. They think it's MS. And so many times especially when I go to like the ER, I've one time even like discussed with them about the type of MD I was like, I have like how it's a college 6 thing and blah, blah, blah. And they understand like the actual name's Ulrich congenital muscular dystrophy. And when I went to leave and I got my papers, I found diagnosis MS. So I've actually had that happen several times.
Wow.
But one time specifically, when I'd actually told the person filling it out all the papers, oh yeah, I have this specific, and just like,
I think that, there was a post a while ago or a discussion about that marathon runner who didn't have MD, but who the media confused and said he did, and then a lot of people were like, why is that not important? Like, why does it matter so much? And it's like, because your diagnosis matters. It really does. And it not only just MD, it's, your specific form of MD matters. And I think, and that's why now I've gotten used to anytime I meet a new doctor at all, I bring information with me about spinal muscular atrophy. Like I print out like an information sheet that explains this is what spinal muscular atrophy does. This is how it affects things. And I make that first appointment a very educational. It's almost like a workshop in a way. I never go in anymore thinking that they know what I have or that they're going to help me with something that I'm dealing with. And so my doctor that I have now, I went back to her after many years, and I haven't seen her in like 10 years, and I just knew she didn't remember me that well. She probably didn't remember what I had. I bet she didn't have a file on me anymore, and so I went back to her, and what I liked about her is that she didn't have an ego about it. She was like, yeah, I don't really know about what you're going through. I don't really know what you have.
Yep.
I would love for you to tell me what's going on and explain to me how your disability works. And that kind of drop of the ego was what made me stick with her because, it was at least she wasn't pretending, it drove me insane.
But she was willing to like listen and learn is the thing. Yeah, that's the same with over the last year. I've built up a relationship, or 2 years, I guess, with my GP similarly. But I think what we tend to go into the problem is that we think we kind of go into the appointments and into our settings, and we expect to know, like, we don't expect them to be able to help us with things, and because they normally can't. And so I think that it's kind of good to remember that, it's kind of nice when you can find and start a relationship with a provider who is willing to, like you said, drop that ego and is willing to, like, work with you in the collaborative.
Right.
What's the key thing.
Right. Patty, what were you about to say?
Well, I love your idea. I never thought of bringing information with me. Recently, my nurse practitioner, who knew me for 7 years, retired. She was really proactive, and my primary care is a pulmonologist, which is awesome. And it's crazy, but when I first started going to this place, I ended up with aspiration pneumonia. This was 7 years ago. I was in the hospital, and they didn't know what a corpus cyst was. And the hospital was trying to fight me. I'm like, I'm going to use this, or I'm going to freaking talk to every freaking cable channel. I was like a nut, And then after a while, they're like, wow. And the doctor, my parents came up to Massachusetts, and the doctor was like, wow, she really knows a lot. And I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm still here, But I never thought about doing it for an office visit. I just got a new nurse practitioner, and I said, are you willing to look up everything about my disability spinal muscular atrophy? Like, I kind of put it in her lap, but I think your idea is better because they can go, yeah, and not do anything. But I found that the hospital is the worst.
Well, and that's the thing. I always used to wonder about those, like, medical ID bracelets. Like, did I get one? Like, what would happen if I got in a car accident and I was unconscious and they tried to take me in, and what if they, like, I always think about that. Like, what would happen if they tried to give me CPR? Or, like, what would happen, like, or something, like surgery, anesthesia. Like, what if I had to go under for anesthesia? And they, like, do I need to notify people of this?
Do you have an SMA standards of care document normally published by a standards of care? It's a medical, normally they're published in, like, the Journal of Neurology. And they are a consensus form, like, medical reviewed and consensus on standard of care is, I think, what it's called. And CMD has that.
MDA published something like that a while ago, and I was just kind of like, I don't remember. I just remember seeing something, and it was very very obvious.
It's no. I'm not the one that It's not gonna. It might have been, like, some of the research in it might have been sponsored by MDA, but, like, I'm thinking about, like, the CMD standard of care that I've seen, and it's not really related from the MDA. It's much more of a medical journal, like, article. Let me find it.
Dr. Bach. Have you all heard of him?
Yeah. Oh, I have information about him. But what I did for your worry, Emily, is that I have those documents on file with the nearest hospitals.
Oh,
that's awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, I would love to get a hold of those. If you have documents, like, that you could visit.
That's exactly what I was doing. I was looking at this, going, okay, let's see. Let me find it.
Maybe we should do a collaborative, big catalog type thing that we could all put in, and then we can all get copies somehow.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna list all these resources that I like. well, not all of them, but some of the stuff I'm going to list on the website. Our website's about to go up, our new website, and I'm really excited about it. It's supposed to be pretty awesome. I'm hoping. They won't show it to me until it's done, because I'm very critical. Hey, TJ, what's up? Was he there? I thought he was. All right. Let me share with you. I'm just going to share with you really quick the document that I bring to my doctor.
How do I send you my document?
You could share it right now during the presentation, and then at the end of the presentation, we could figure something out.
Okay.
Hold on. So anyway, do you see my doctor thing?
Mm-hmm.
So this is my doctor deal. It's got, so I brought this to her, I guess, like I did this in July, I guess. But I break it down. I wrote down, you know.
By the way, I'm here. I just needed the phone.
Okay.
I'm listening. It's very interesting.
Okay, cool. Well, no, glad you're here. Thanks, TK. So anyway, I wrote, you know, my age, where I'm at, you know, where, you know, just basic stuff about me. And then my major diagnosis is spinal muscular atrophy, and I explained voluntary muscles affected, 43 hours of personal care assistant, uses a power wheelchair, full time for mobility, 0 weight bearing, diagnosed with osteopenia in 2006, weakened lungs at 65% capacity, spinal fusion for scoliosis in 1988. So, and then I break down, and then I talk about my family history.
This is awesome.
And then I do, like, you know, everybody that died in my family so far, pretty much. I wrote down, like, what the deal is. And then my parents, which they're not dead yet, but, and then I like this part. Status. My mother, healthy, but always thinks she's sick. So then here, this is as far as I can go back about my health history. I kind of broke it down, everything that's possibly happened to me. And then, like, the status after, you know, I kind of talk about what I do to treat it, then what my status is. And then, so yeah, I've had pneumonia 3 times, 78, 99, and 2012.
Where did you get this form? Is this a form, or did you make it?
No, I just made it up.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then,
you carry it around with you, or how do you
I made this specifically for my doctor when I met her for the first time. Well, not for the first time. I hadn't seen her in 10 years.
That document on file. That document is enough. You can put that in. You can just it can be considered a anything you give anything you give, like the system, like Sutter for me, Sutter Health, they it can be, what is it, not living will, but wishes, you don't know, and
right.
This is the things that you want them to keep on file to know about.
Right.
A proxy? Like a proxy?
No, it's I don't remember.
Well, the standard of care, I think, I mean, that kind of ties with it. I can see what you're saying.
Yeah, I have a couple documents. So how did I just to share it?
Share screen.
Share screen?
The document is called your advanced directives.
Advanced directives?
Yeah.
Basically, it's what you want to be done in the event that you can't speak for yourself. But on a healthcare proxy, that's a separate document, but that relates to who you want to make decisions for you.
Gotcha.
So the 2 documents are healthcare proxy and advanced directives.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's advanced directive. That was the word I was looking for, the keyword.
Right. So yeah, here it was funny. I wrote like my diagnosis, and I put them in order. Like I did the timeline, but I like spinal muscular atrophy type 3. Here I was diagnosed in 1978. Treatment is progressive. Status meh.
Yeah.
Man, what the hell?
You can get it tattooed on your stomach.
Wait, what?
You can get it tattooed on your stomach.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Ah.
And then at the bottom, I had current concerns and requested referrals. So I explained, like, these are my issues at this very moment in time. At that time, I was dealing with weight gain, lack of hydration versus need for urination. And so I was looking at the SPC, morning headaches, pulmonary weakness. I knew who I wanted to see, so I told him that I wanted the referral. I wanted to give me the referral to that guy. And then reoccurring skin blisters under my right breast and bikini area. And then I talked about that. Reoccurring scalp itchiness, no reason, and I'm trying to figure that out. And then lack of focus, productivity seems to be getting more severe over the years.
Stop smoking weed.
Huh?
Stop smoking weed.
Yeah, right. I don't smoke weed. I wish that would be an explanation. Anyway,
The lack of what? You said at the bottom? I didn't see it.
lack of focus, productivity. Although lately that's kind of the opposite. I've been very, very productive.
You know, can I offer something about, you know, this is kind of off the whatever, but when you talk about your scalp, somebody told me that people with SMA, we have a lot of like yeast in our system. I get very itchy in my head too. So I heard that's common. I know that doesn't know what this is about, but
Interesting.
So Emily, let me ask you a question. How would you use that document, you know, in case of an emergency? Like, could you like have it on a thumb drive or something, or?
No, that's the thing. Now I know with the iPhone they have the new health app where you can actually put in information about yourself, and supposedly somebody in the ambulance is supposed to be looking at it, but that's the thing. I don't really know how to communicate that information. I mean, I think what we end up doing is kind of maybe what Maggie was saying, which would be to, you know, have things on file at the local hospitals. And I don't know, they'll just open a file for you and put it in?
You know, they'll put it into a record. And I don't know, you know, the thing is I figured, I did this all when I was having some more issues. And I was worried about things because I was thinking I might, you know, it was at the time, it was before I started getting the UTIs under control, and I was worried about getting hospitalized. But what I did is I just started a document with things that I wanted to have written there, like, and just didn't really care if it was even, you know, fully like coherent or necessary. It was as long as I figured anything would be better than nothing. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
I have one that says, like, I have my documents, like, information. I called it information about my MD and the experts. And so I have, like, summary of diagnosis, major impacts, pulmonary, surgical procedures, and anesthesia, muscles and skin, less significant impact, you know, GI, cardiac. Then I have CMD, standards of care, advanced directive. And then I have a, like, specific sentence, like, stuff about the advanced directive that I want every attempt to be made, reasonable or not, to be made to ascertain my opinion and wishes at every step and every opportunity, specifically at each and every decision or step, with at least 3 significant attempts made by 2 different people and witnessed by several others.
Wow! I love that.
I went overkill.
I like overkill. And
This includes I also said this includes using alternative methods of communication, such as nodding, blinking, raising fingers to answer questions. Example question: yes or no. Fingers for yes or no. 1 finger for no. Whatever.
Amen, lady. You figure this shit out. Can you, like, so that, I want to see that. Like, I want to see those wishes because, man, I feel like that's something I want to have.
It's not fully coherent, this document, but you'll be able to figure it out. I'm sorry. Hey, that's as Craig said. Smoking weed.
But you know what, though? I think that as NMD United, I feel like we could put together some of that, like really edit them and fix them up and get them to, and maybe have different versions
of it.
Different versions, so that way, like, maybe somebody doesn't want all those methods. Maybe some people will just want to get out of their misery or whatever. But I mean, you can at least have the language and how to word it and have it, and have a system for how it's going to be ready for when that happens. You know what I mean? I feel like that's really important. And I was thinking about bringing this up when I reminded people of this hangout tonight. But in thinking about Kelsey, who we just lost, and I'm not saying I know nothing about what happened. And I don't want to say that it wasn't because she was prevented from communicating. I don't want to say anything. I don't know. I have guesses as to what might have happened, but I don't really know. And so I felt like, so I was inspired. I think that this hangout is really relevant for this, for what happened to her, to help her. And then on the other, this might have helped her. And I just think about that when I think about this hangout. But then also on top of that, I was thinking about doing some kind of buddy system program with NMD United where we could get a local buddy, somebody in our area that has the same disability as we do, to go and be our voice for us when we are in the hospital, or we are maybe not able to have a voice. And it would be kind of like our medical buddy. But I don't know about the legal implications of that. Like, I don't know how that exactly works. I don't know because, for instance, let's say a medical buddy screwed up and said, told the doctor off or whatever, and could there be issues with the family suing us for something happening or something like that? I don't really know how I want this medical buddy thing to work, and I don't know about the legal stuff, but I do think that there's something there. I think that there's it's kind of I don't know. I know that if I go in for a procedure, I want Heather Kersetter coming with me. That's kind of how I feel, but I just don't know how to make that happen.
And that's exactly what I was thinking. Something similar to that is that we need to make, try to, because if we had someone there, someone probably would have been able to, we can't say for sure, but
I gotta share something with you guys because, I'm like kind of old. I hate to sound like I repeat that all the time, and nothing, there's no agenda. It's just that I'm 55 and I rest on my tail. Okay. But I'm sitting here, I have to be honest. If you become friends with me, like a lot of you, like Emily, we've been talking. One thing about me is I am painfully and brutally honest and open. And I have to admit, this is so weird, that when I came here, what did I just do? Okay, there you go. When I came tonight, I thought I had a lot of stuff to share with everybody. And I'm going, I don't have nearly as much as you guys. And I'm sitting here listening to this, and I'm thinking, it's a different generation now, where when I was growing up and I was younger, I had the brainwashing, let the doctors do it.
Yeah.
And excuse my language, fucking bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I had an older sister, Connie, who you might have heard about, and she was the one that was like, no, this is what you got to do, and you have to advocate for yourself. And you guys, I just want to jump in the computer and be like, can I get a copy of that? Because I want to make one for myself.
I know.
I cannot believe how advanced and how great this is. I just had to say that. I'm going to shut up now.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that honestly, you're probably in the majority, because there's I would say that I'm not a hypochondriac, but I'm kind of really weird about stuff.
No, but I think we all are a little bit. I think we all border on that.
I don't know. I bet if we did a poll, we would not find people that would be this interested in this kind of stuff.
Let me interrupt and say, let it be known that I do not, I mean, I'm very much my own advocate, I've learned. But when I was younger, in my 20s, or I didn't know how, and I have lost some friends with disabilities because they didn't know enough. And but the things that you guys have, these forms and stuff, I'm like, holy crap, it's so much easier to have it in front of you than to be saying, well, blah, 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 Okay, sorry.
Well, Patty,
Can I just share with you guys one thing that happened to me last time I was in the hospital? I have congestive heart failure, and so I have a lot of fluid in my lungs and trying to breathe, and my positioning really has a lot to do with that. If I'm on a certain side or if I'm trying to roll a certain way, that's so I can get my breath. And the nurses and the nurses' assistants would fight me as I was trying to fight to save my life by turning myself to the right position. They were trying to push me back, down to where I couldn't breathe. And it's little simple things like that. But luckily I found an opportunity to sneak my way into the position I needed to be. If they'd seen that, they would have forced me back down to my death position.
Yeah.
They don't have any concept for the fact that our anatomy is different and that all the rules that apply to everybody else don't necessarily apply to us.
Yeah.
I wonder if Emily lost her connection.
Well,
She's not here.
that all I know is that Stanford Medical, they're one of the best, medical schools in California, and they didn't have an equivalent breathing machine for me to be able to use when I checked in to their ER that would be the equivalent of my bypass. And none of the RTs knew anything. And they fought me for a good couple hours before they just gave up and let me have mine. But that's one of those things that worries me about, if they don't have, they say they can, we can replicate whatever, and it's like, no, you can't necessarily. So I had something kind of similar to that, Greg.
Yeah. It was scary, man. I thought they were going to kill me.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Shit.
So I told my parents to just never leave me alone with them,
Yep.
No, I mean, Alana, she's not here right now, but she always talks about bringing her attendants, bringing her team in, and how important that is to have your team involved in hospital stuff. And I know that a lot of times Medicaid and it doesn't pay for when you're in the hospital or whatever, they don't pay people to be there. So
they also won't pay people to feed your cat or your dog. So you just don't tell them.
I don't tell them. I just go. I don't.
Yep, exactly. They're not going to catch you unless it's a long stay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they go to court and go on TV.
I do it. Yeah, exactly. I do it anyway. I don't. And the thing that I found, unfortunately, it's funny because Patty, I know I'm only 29, but it's funny because there's some kids on there that are even younger than me, and it's funny because it's just like, dude, yeah, okay, I've seen that, then but I totally. So I'm always happy to hear from someone who's older and wiser in any way, shape, or form, even if it's only just an experience, is how I look at it. I'm like, dude, you guys are getting freaked out over this SPC. Seriously? Okay, come on. No. Here, let me tell you how it really goes. It's fine. You'll be fine. But it's like you can't necessarily sometimes communicate that certainty and that experience. I'm like, I don't think I'm right about it all the time, but sometimes you've just had more experience. And so I wouldn't discount your years of experience.
No, but it's amazing how it's a different world now, and you guys are not, you're speaking, it's awesome. I mean, and I don't mean that, I'm just speaking for me,
well, you guys are smarter now than we were at your age.
I'm one of the older of that generation, I think.
Well, and I don't know if I'd agree with you. I really think it's definitely different between different people. I think it's part of it. I know that there are people I'm living with MD that are not even at all thinking about this right now. And and I think it's important that we do start. Maybe Kelsey will wake some folks up and make them start going there. I thought more people would attend the night's hangout because I was hoping that they would connect the two. I didn't want to bring it up to make people depressed or scared or paranoid. I think
because we're already likely to think that anyway.
Well, so before I go on about my theories on things, I also think that there's a lot of denial going on and fear.
Yes.
And so if you're fearing it and you're in denial of it, then you're not going to go to a hangout on it. Because that would kind of remind you of everything that you're afraid of, you know? So, Maggie, will you explain this thing that you're sharing?
Oh, what I have here. This is, as I said, it's not necessarily coherent, but this is my document that I have, the important information about my MD and the experts. And so I have just this little list thing here. And so then what I told you, that every attempt is on here. And this is my document, not for them. So I put a disclaimer on it for my friends and things that, yes, I recognize I'm being a bitch, but don't trust anything any doctor or anyone else tells you.
Yep.
And then, so this is the beginning. I have CMD standards of care, pulmonary. I summarized that. These are the CMD respiratory management guidelines.
What's CMD?
Congenital muscular dystrophy. So it's the one that I have specifically, I don't have SMA, I have CMD. And then I have surgery, that's addressed in that. And then I have links to articles on like the Family Guide to Management of CMD, the Cure CMD. They have a couple other ones. And as much as we hate the name Cure, I don't give a shit because it's a good, their stuff is good. I don't care whether that they chose that stupid name, but they have some really good, content, and so then, and then I have a page with recognized experts that I want people to start contacting. I think even Dr. Bach. What else did I have? Oh yeah, that's that.
Can you share that with us?
Yeah, and then this is, I'll send it to, and then this is the journal, the consensus statement on standard of care for congenital muscular dystrophies. And so it's like in the Journal of Child Neurology. So it's not like actually, I don't even think that we'll see MDA on this. So you can see, definitely not. But that's what I have so far. What I found of my stuff that I made when I was really freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
I was really freaked out. But
No, I see all this and I'm like, this just needs to be a little bit more, like what I want is something that's very easy for them to read and follow. And I want them that's the thing is that I knew that I wasn't writing this for anyone who wasn't like in the medical field already. No, but if I go to the hospital and there's something wrong, I don't want.
Well, and that's why I did the little bit, the really quick, the first thing.
Right. No. I think that's important, and like having a table of contents almost.
Right.
The big points. But I think that what the point is that the seed of what you're doing, I think is really smart, and I think that what we need to do is possibly get a committee or something together where we can make these for a lot of the disability, all of the neuromuscular disabilities that we can think of. And,
yes.
And then come up with maybe, kind of a consensus in small groups over what should be written and how it should be written and designed. And that way, they could it could get to the point where it could be almost like a one-pager, like, have you ever seen those, hey, would you mind if I stop sharing your screen?
I think that's what we need to, I think what we need to do is create like a document that gives an outline of the things, but I think it's important for the individuals to take ownership and I don't want to be doing something for somebody. We can give them a sample, but I really think it's important for people to do this for themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, you learn more about yourself by doing this document.
That's
And I'm not interested in babying people. You know, that's
No,
important.
that's
You
not
know,
really what I meant, TK.
No, but that's a good point, TK. I agree.
I agree. I think it should definitely be your own personal document. I think that there should be some guidelines, though, for people that don't know where to start and people that
Yeah, like a formula.
I got a template.
a formula, yeah. A template or a formula, but, you know, we shouldn't be handing out documents, oh, this is for CMD, and this is for SMA, and this is for Medicare, you know.
I mean, you know, or I don't know.
I mean, in general,
Some people have-
treatment.
For some
Some
people,
people have capability. You know, the problem is that everyone has different capabilities, and so some people, you know, may not be able to make it on their own, you know, too. And I worry about that, like, you know, or wouldn't want to take the time to do that. But then, of course, you're losing part of the point. But yeah.
No, if somebody says, I need help, can you help me give me some advice? That's very different than do this for me because I'm too fucking lazy. Yeah.
Well, you guys on the NMD site, there's a lot of support and people that are willing to give their time. What about some kind of a team where we give templates, we let them do it, and if they want to run it by us, like say TK or Emily or Matt,
That's fine too. I like that.
you know, and then they say, and then you might say, well, have you thought of, you know, not even giving them the answers, but be empowering, like, you know, the independent living model, like, gee, have you thought of what would happen if you couldn't swallow and chew your food, and do you want them to, I mean, okay, well, I may have to blow my food, or I may need to have you thought of positioning of someone, you know, needs to do this, and how are they going to do this? Like, people that have more experience with it. So we're not really doing it for them, but we're kind of supporting a little bit. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
my connection just got really funky. I mean, really funky. I'm not able to go and do the Brady Bunch mode where I can see everybody's face. It's like all weird. Oh, man, I'm trying to figure out what happened.
That happened to me before.
Anyway, well, I'll try to just keep it going and just go.
But a lot of my, you know, the thing that happened for me, like, I think that TK has a really good point, is that I learned a heck of a lot more because I did it. And I think, like you said, your doctor having that humility, I feel like that into you, that you don't know anything and there's always going to be someone smarter than you. And so that I was able to just take it and say, okay, I have no freaking clue what I'm doing. I'm just going to start it and go for it. And then I had to, and because I had to do it, I had to learn it a lot more. But the thing is, a lot of the articles and a lot of the things that I was able to find, a lot of the information I was able to find because I had access through UC Berkeley, you know, so
Right.
kind of shitty, but.
TK, I'm going to mute you a little bit, okay?
What's that? What's that?
I was hearing background noise. I'm having, like, all I can do is I'm not seeing everybody as they're talking. It sucks. This is the worst. I don't know what happened to my connection.
Play with the little icons.
I think the internet has NMD.
Wait, what?
The internet has NMD.
Yes, it does. It does have NMD. The internet. Oh man. So anyway, Lauren, do you want to say what you're thinking? Do you want to type anything into the chat for us to share? No, you're okay?
Cool.
Okay. So anyway, does anybody else have any other, I guess, tips for dealing with doctors that we haven't talked about yet?
Oh, one thing I was going to share before. I did have something I wrote. Like I had to get surgery for the first time, and it was I was 42, I guess, and I was scared to death. And I went to where Dr. Bach's hospital was in New Jersey. We made a big pilgrimage with my ex-husband, my parents, my PCAs. It was crazy, so that I would not die during surgery. And one of the things I wrote to give to people was a little bit of like a bio, because one thing that scares me is the whole like quality of life.
Yeah.
Are they gonna try really hard to resuscitate me, or
Right.
Obama, or some big figure was like in the next bed? Who would they deal with first? So I tried to let them see a picture of me as a viable human being with a quality of life, and I'm married. I do this. I love that. I have a great sense of humor. I've accomplished this.
Hmm.
That's another thing that I would totally add to any documents too. And my sister, I was going crazy trying to find this, but she had published an article in some magazine, How to Survive a Hospital Stay. And I've been going crazy. I can't find it. I don't know anywhere on the internet. I don't have it. I thought I did. But, she puts pictures up in her hospital room and like decorates it. And, it's just me. And if somebody comes in, and she also taught me the whole thing about stop refusing treatment. I mean, I had somebody twice. This is so gross. I had two different nurses because if I was really sick, I didn't want to sit up to have to worry about, swallowing Tylenol to get my fever down. So I requested suppositories. If I got a fever, so I just, they just shove it up there. Well, she started shoving it up my vagina.
Mm.
And I'm like, no. I mean, what an idiot, right? So if you say, stop refusing treatment with anything and they don't stop, they're in big trouble. That's one thing that I don't know if people know. Not just stop, ow. Stop refusing treatment.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's one of those really sad things that you have to, that it's, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the thing I was thinking about that I wanted to share is that I been dealing with stuff with doctors and communicating and things like that, is that I've had kind of the experience of being both the, you have to go in gung-ho strong bitch, but sometimes I feel like over the last couple of years I've learned that sometimes that's not the best tactic, and sometimes it's better to sometimes bring a PCA with you and let a PCA do certain, and sometimes it's better to, approach in a slightly different way, even when you want to just beat the living crap out of someone, but you can't. But also, like, one thing I've noticed though is certain care people, like especially like the people that are like the assistants or the things, they respond better to a caregiver doing anything. With anything, and I don't even call my attendants caregivers, because I think that's a stupid, but you know what I mean? But that's their framework. And like, that's the shitty part, is that those people that are like the assistants that you're not spending as much time with, that you're not, building a relationship with as much, they're the ones. And so sometimes I've found over the last couple of years that sometimes it's easier to just, it's going to work out better to let my attendant be the one to call this, wheelchair company to make an appointment, because the assholes, are bigger assholes, because to me, for some, against, they can't handle having a woman, who's an adult, taking care of, they don't understand, they can't. better. But sometimes that's necessary, and then sometimes it's necessary to tell them to go screw themselves and yell at them.
You that just brought up another point. I have had my PCAs in the hospital with me, even though no one's supposed to know. But they've been there. One of the things I have to tell them and guard against is the institutional mindset that starts to creep in if you're in the hospital more than like a week. Because, my PCAs, I train them like, look, this isn't the medical model, the independent living. I'm running the show with my own life. And, one of my PCAs during a hospital stay, I think I was falling off the bed. And if I feel like I'm falling off the bed, or even if I'm not, don't tell me I'm not. Just grab me and, because at home, that's what they would do. And she's like, you're not going to fall. Well, after everybody left, I was like, don't you ever say that again. Don't get like them. Because then you're not, for me, you're not on my team. That's something that I noticed can happen too. They get and I'll tell them, like, when I understand about having PCAs, talk, you're tired or whatever.
Lauren says, I switched doctors for a month, and my new doctor thought she knew it all. She wouldn't listen to me. I told my dad I wanted to switch back. It was ridiculous. Yeah, I think it's important to shop around for the right doctor for sure. I did that. I doctor shopped probably for a year, maybe 2 years. And I would go to him and I'd have my first appointment. And if it didn't go very well, I'd be like, all right, fine, I'm going to go find another one. It was a waste of time, but I think it's really important to have a good primary.
Well, and it's important to switch, to not be afraid to switch if you're not getting the type of care you need, because that's what's been a major part of my health improvements is being like, no, this person is an incompetent moron and they suck and they're not listening. And, and so, so sometimes I've had to switch, but, it was really good for me to learn to like, just be like, no, this is, and I had to do that recently. Most recently, the infectious disease doctor that I've been seeing, for like a year, finally revealed, like, I thought we had built up a decent relationship, but finally, like, revealed his true spots. Several months ago, had to like call me up and like lecture me and tell me that I hadn't been sick, that I hadn't actually had a UTI because of something, and like all my other doctors agreed, yes, I did. I at the time had a nurse that came in, from an agency thing to check on me, and a wound nurse. And everyone, all my attendants, it was obvious there was a UTI there. And the doctor just decided, he listened to these, tests that weren't even the right tests to run because they were just a stupid analysis test, not the cultures. And I was just like, no, I'm not going to go back now. I'm going to go find another doctor. Like, I don't care if I've spent a year with this guy and a half and he's been decent otherwise. Like, that's just the fact that he really, like, campaigned to, like, make me feel like I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about, like, purposely. Like, no.
Hey guys, I gotta get going here.
Okay.
This was okay.
Do you have any last thoughts?
All right.
All right. Well, bye.
All right. Take care. Bye.
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 Lauren, I was gonna suggest to you that maybe it's good that you come up. Do you have a written document that you use with your doctors? I mean, is that something that you think you might want to do when you go in to see the doctors? Is like write your like a little, because your writing skills are great. Maybe you could put together like a little essay about yourself and your interests, like a bio, like Patty was suggesting, and and some things that you're interested, you're concerned about or whatever. And then that way they have that to read, so they actually do pay attention to you. Do you think that's a good idea? Have you done that before? Or? No? Or
Yes.
Well, she's moving her eyebrows up and down, so I'm thinking maybe it's a yes. I don't know.
That means yes.
That means
It's a
yes.
yes, okay.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's the thing. When people have trouble talking, doctors are just so impatient, too.
Yeah, for sure.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I really liked your idea that you said your sister had of decorating her hospital room. Like, I think that it's important. Like, I consider that, I do that with my own house, like my own room. Like, I want this to make me feel better, let's make it pretty and whatever. And so, like, I think that I would have I kind of do that if I'm ever there, but I think that's a really good aspect of it, that it gives you that human, a little bit. And that's why I like to share with, like, my doctors and anyone at all, like, in the things, like, oh yeah, I play soccer, power soccer, and like, that way they know that there's something.
Yeah.
Human. Yeah. Well, yeah, well.
Photo album or something.
Yeah, that's true. A photo album or pictures or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna make my own little personal hospital kit. It sounds very morbid, but I feel like I need to put together a hospital kit. I need to find the time. I don't know when, but I just need to do that. Like have like an emergency, like, I don't know, maybe get some jammies I like, or get something get like a little, like, when people go to have babies and they have like their maternity bag or whatever, have my own little hospital kit just in case with all my shit. Well,
you don't have to necessarily think of it even as a hospital. Sometimes you just got to go to the ER for something that you're going to be there for 5 hours. And
well, yeah, then I can have like a little ER kit.
I mean,
I had at least something in my car or on my wheelchair or something. I don't know.
I'm trying to give you a little bit of a framework that's not as scary to do it.
Well, that's a problem too. I know. I guess you can't prepare for everything, but
but still think about it in a wider way too. You can also make a kit to prepare so that you can bring it to any doctor visit too.
Right.
Or anything. Even if you just have to see like a freaking random ass person for some random thing.
This just popped in my head, but like, like these big pharmaceutical companies, they bring in like gifts for the doctors, and like they bring in like, they have like their little gift bags and stuff. It might be fun to have like an introductory like Emily bag, and like, where I have information about myself, and then I leave like a little trinket so they'll remember me, like from their desk or whatever, like, like a little, like maybe like, I don't know, like a goofy little thing from, like a little trinket, and then they put it in their office, and every time we see the trinket, they're reminded. Or something like,
That's a bad idea.
I know.
Yeah.
But it sounds like we're sucking up, but actually, I think it's good to be on their mind sometimes.
Well, we're also being humanized.
Right.
Making sure that they're, individual and
Right. Right.
Because as soon as you get them out of, a lot of times it's good when you can get them out of their, medical mind mode,
Mm-hmm.
Right. I tend to show, like I was showing my pulmonologist, so I got on the BiPAP, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago. And I took all these goofy pictures with it on, of me and my boyfriend, like, kissing me with it on. And, like, he had did I ever show you? I probably didn't show you guys, but I'll see if I can.
You put one on the MD's with. It was cute.
Let's see. I can
just you.
I'll show you this picture. But I was showing my doctor pictures of me wearing it, and they were like cracking up, and it was kind of funny because you could see that I like, I don't know if you can see it, but like.
Oh yeah, that's cute.
He's like glasses. He's got the tube in his mouth for my, and then this is him like kissing it. Oh, so gross. Anyway, but I really show them funny pictures of like, my life or whatever. I'll just like give them a couple flashes of my, my world. Sometimes I think that helps break the ice a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, well, it's 8:45 or 9:45 where you guys are, right? Or well, and I don't know what time is it where you are? 6:45?
45.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna get going. I'm tired, and I've got like 1,000-page paper to write.
This was good.
Huh?
This was really good.
Well, thank you. I felt like it was a little choppy because of the internet stuff, but hopefully we got a lot out of it or something out of it, So yeah, I did. I'm very inspired. So
Awesome.
thanks for coming. And next week we're doing one on driving. That's what we're doing.
Oh, really? I just finished getting my car done. My car. I had a car for 9 years, and then this one's a newer one. It was dying, dead.
Oh, wow. So you drive?
Yeah, I've been driving, and I was driving with my feet and the zero effort steering, zero effort braking. But then in this car, we've switched to driving with a hand control and zero effort steering, zero effort braking.
Cool.
Still, but I have a electronic gas.
Who makes your equipment?
Guidio Simplex.
Okay. You should take a video of it to bring to the hangout next week and show it off.
Yeah, I haven't. It only literally got finished. Like I have been having to go back and forth to San Diego, which is a 12-hour trip, to get it worked on, to get it done. For like the last 4 months.
Oh, wow.
It really finished within the last month.
Wow. All right. Well, feel free to come and share your stories next week. We're going to do another driving one, and then a round of SPCs again. SPC Mitrophanol or whatever it is. And then we end off the month, I think, with Corey talking about traveling. And then next month we have a whole new round of hangouts that I haven't even started putting together. But hopefully I'm going to actually have a hangout, facilitators trained. And then I won't be doing this as much anymore. It's like,
when is that? Do you know?
No. I will know more at the end of this week, I think. Because I'm going to talk with Lauren Sanford, the project manager, and that's one of her tasks. And so I'm going to see what she wants to do.
I want to get more involved too.
I know. I definitely want hangout facilitators. But I'm going to be a little bit more strict than Dom was. I'm going to do training. There's going to be specific requirements as far as how to post hangouts and, and how to get them on the calendar and just, putting it all together. It's a lot. It's work, but I want it done right and I want it done consistently because I don't want this. This is a thing that I want people to get used to it happening no matter what. And I've had to fight through it because there's been nights where I just don't want to do it, but I do it because I have to. I have to stick to it. So. Yeah,
that's exciting. Are you doing the cocktail ones or whatever?
The happy hours?
Yeah.
You'd love the happy hours. The happy hours are great.
I haven't done it yet.
Oh, they're great. They're way fun. Because they're just open floor, talking about whatever. It's good.
What time of day?
Just the same time as this one, but on Thursday. It's an open floor. We've had busy ones. We've had not so busy ones. It kind of depends. It changes every week. But yeah, it's good. Anyway, Lauren comes to.
It's great to see you guys.
Yeah, good to see you guys too. All right, well, thanks for coming. Good night, you everybody.
Bye.
Good night, you guys.
Bye. Bye. Thanks for sharing. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.